Hi, welcome to Hope in the Light of Suicide. I'm your host, Tammy White, and the founder and CEO of the Bobby White Foundation. Want to thank you guys for joining us. It's been a crazy week. First off, even before we get to thanking my producer, please keep the people from Hurricane Helene in your thoughts and prayers. There's so much devastation all over in our own community. And throughout the southeast, it's just they say it's the second worst storm next to Sandy, and we still have so many people displaced, and it's going to be a long recovery. So please, I wanted to get that out there first because we were so fortunate here at the office and at home. All we got were cleaned out trees, so I get to spend a week cleaning up my yard, but we're helping others in the community too. So anyways, want to thank Area 52 Media Group, John and Austin, of course. Without them, we wouldn't be here today or any other day. And also DeLynn Gaston with the mortgage firm, one of our dear sponsors. And you too can be a sponsor like DeLynn for this show, and it would be a great honor. So anyways, because of them we can do this, and even throughout these crazy times that we're in, there's gonna be and I was gonna talk about it this week, but I'm gonna wait until next week to talk about it. Grief and loss and after tragedy and devastation that everybody's going through. Felt like we keep it a little bit lighter today because it's still so raw. So I want to remind you that next week, Wednesday, we have our support group for Hernando County. It's the second Wednesday, which I don't know what date that falls on. October. It will be October 9th. And then the third Thursday, October 17th, is the one for West Pasco at the Oasis Coffee Spot. The one in Hernando is at the NAMI Hernando office. So those are coming up. So put that on your calendar. And because of the storm, last Saturday was supposed to be the Stomp Out Suicide Walk Run events for Pasco County Parks and Rec. That has been postponed to October 26th. It was too much. So they did postpone that October 26th. Same place, everything else is the same, just a different date. And as far as I know, they're still moving forward this week with the other events that they're doing throughout this. I guess it'll be the second week of October. Yeah, the second week with like the kitten yoga and the dog yoga and the there it is, the Strike the Stigma bowling and Pilates in the park. I'm going to try and do, forgot I haven't even registered for that. I want to do the Sunset Coastal Kayak Paddle. I got to get on there and register for that if I could still get in. It's going to be a really super small group. What else are they doing? Drinking after dark open pickleball. That sounds like that would be fun. So remember they have all these events for their mental health week. Parks and Rec is really great, stepping up to the plate with this stuff. And hopefully we're going to be partnering with them soon again. We're still looking for a facility to hold a support group in East Pasco. So we're still working on it. I was hoping we'd have it done ready by now, but probably even if we would have had it scheduled, we would have had to have postponed it considering what happened. So hopefully we'll get that scored away pretty soon. So today I have a special guest, and you've seen her before. She's a dear friend of mine. She's actually she's chairing the Pasco Out of the Darkness walk again. But before I bring her on, I had mentioned a couple times when we had Art for Hope, John interviewed several people at our event, and Teresa was one of the people that he interviewed. So we're going to play her interview first, and then we'll bring Teresa on.
Hey, everybody, we're back at the 2024 Art for Hope 7th annual event, and I am here with Teresa. Now, Teresa, I want you to introduce yourself and tell everybody why you came tonight.
My name is Teresa Daniels, and Tammy and I have been connected for about the last 5.5 years. I met her. I am a healing conversations coordinator now, and I actually met Tammy after the suicide of her husband.
Wow,
and so
okay.
we've kind of bonded and been together ever since.
Oh, okay. So you actually talked to people pre-incident. Sometimes.
I can,
Right.
yes. Typically, if we're doing programs and things like that, or if we're out, like for instance, I was just at a tabling event at the VA in Tampa the other day. So if people come to you and they want to talk to you about it, yes. But the healing conversations are after.
After, for the family.
That's right.
Well,
the
sometimes,
survivors.
if you get them pre,
Absolutely.
you can keep them from being
Absolutely.
post.
Absolutely.
Is that correct?
That's correct. I'm on the board of the Tampa Bay chapter for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention.
Okay.
So we do a lot of programs, More Than Sad, Talk Saves Lives. We've got a new program called Let's Save Lives, which works for African American communities.
Okay.
So we are always out there promoting the programs so that people can get the education.
Right.
Resources. We have lots of resources to put people in connection with people that can assist them.
So I'm gonna put you on the spot because I didn't practice any questions. I
Not
didn't
at
know you're
all.
coming. So, is there a certain sect of the population that you see it more heavy in right now than others, or is it kind of even across the board?
It's not even. Like I said, they have statistics like Tammy was saying earlier. The elderly, are definitely high. The veterans are very high. If you're talking about college, that's the number 2.
Really?
Suicide is the number 2.
I
cause
would
of
have
death.
never
That's
thought
right.
college.
Yes, yes. And shockingly, people in the middle age, when you think of things like divorce, things like losing jobs, there's many of life-changing events that can cause those kind of suicidal ideations
Right.
and, put people in those scenarios.
Right. Yeah.
So, but yeah.
That is amazing. I would have. So now, and do you just deal with the whole public in general, or you have a specialty group that you deal with?
We deal with all the public. The
Everybody.
American Foundation for Suicide. We
Okay.
also do advocacy. Like I'm a field ambassador, so we go
Okay.
to Washington. We used to go to Tallahassee, but they, are doing things a little different now. But we try to advocate. We were able to get the 988 number. When we went a couple years ago, we advocated for funding so that you can have like the mobile units to be able to go and assist people if they're having those crises.
Right.
So we do a lot. We do research, like I said, programs. We try to go to schools. We do community events.
Right.
Like if you've ever heard of our Out of the Darkness walks, we
Yep,
do 3.
I do.
We do one
Yep.
in Tampa. We do one in St. Pete.
Yep.
We do one in Pasco. So we definitely try to get the word out
So
there.
if people are watching this, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, for me, like I said, being on the board, they could, look up, AFSP.org.
Okay.
So that stands for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Or, like I said, if you were in a crisis, you can dial the 988.
There you
or
go.
you can text 741-741.
Right.
So
Well, thank you for stopping by.
You're
I
so
know
welcome.
Tammy was like, "Got to get over and do your thing." So
I love Tammy.
we all love
Bonded
Tammy.
together we are.
So stick around. We've got more great guests coming up at the 2024 Art for Hope.
Thank you so much.
There you go. So with that, Teresa Daniels, are you out there? There she is.
I am. Thank you.
That was a really good interview. That was the first time I saw it.
Was it really, Tammy?
It was. You did good. You did good.
Thank you very
I was very proud of you. Very proud of you. So, how you been? We just saw each other last night.
Right? On another Zoom meeting, yes.
and what were we doing? Preparing
We were
for the
talking
Out of the
about
Darkness walk.
Yep, talking about our walk. That's coming up November the 2nd. So
It'll be here before we know it.
I know.
It'll be
Almost
here
a month
before we know
now.
it.
Tomorrow will be 30 days. So
Oh
very
yeah,
soon.
well. Oh my
Right?
goodness. Oh, I just don't know where time is.
I
Okay,
know.
so first, because I don't know if the audio was real good on the very first of that video, but um, could you? I'm gonna put up a picture of you and Tristan that
Oh, okay.
we've used before when you've been on the show a couple of times before,
Yes.
usually around this time of year. But could you let our viewers know, the ones that haven't met you before, a little pared down little version of
The
how
elevator version.
you
That's
got
right.
here? Yeah, how you got here. And if Austin could put up the picture of Tristan and Teresa, so that I'd like them to have a visual. There you go. So
That's a
talk,
great picture.
Teresa. It is
One
a
of my
really good
favorites.
picture. It's a really good picture of you too. Very good
That was
picture of
actually on the
Tristan.
senior night. One of the last
Was it?
few pictures that we had together. Yes.
Yeah.
hmm
So
So obviously that was. Go ahead.
no, you go. You
Oh,
talk.
okay.
You
Well, I was
tell
gonna say
us.
that was.
Tell. Yes, yes.
Yeah, that was my son, Tristan Daniels. So Tristan, he went to J.W. Mitchell High School. He was part of the Marching Mustangs, which he loved. He played the trombone. He was 18 years old when he died by suicide in April. He had about 5 weeks left before graduation, so he didn't make his graduation. Tristan was my only child. And so we met with AFSP probably several weeks after Tristan passed. AFSP did an event at Growth and Recovery, and they did not know at the time that Tristan was my son, but they did that event, and Steve and I were there, and I met Tara and Jason. Jason was the board chair at that time for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and they gave me a little bit of information on suicide and how to deal with things afterwards. And so we kind of connected, and they told me that I had to wait about 2.5 years before I could be on the board. But after that, 2.5 years passed, I signed up, and that's how I became a board member with AFSP. But Tristan was typical 18 years old, lots of friends. He loved playing, like I said, in the band. They had, orchestra, jazz band. So he loved that. He played tennis. He was a very good tennis player. Um, very smart, had lots and lots of friends. And sadly, we didn't know that he was suffering. It's one of the things that we believe that they call masking. So he didn't really let us know that he was in that type of situation. So it was quite a surprise and a shock to us and to all of his friends at the high school when he died by suicide.
You know, it seems a lot of deaths by suicide involved masking. A lot of people that you don't see it coming, and you just
Sure.
kind of you just wonder, um, yeah, it's they're with all the research and everything that they're doing, and with zero suicide, with that type of it's not really event, but the way that it plays out, um, we're never gonna get to zero suicide. Hopefully our best efforts is on greatly reducing the rate, but if when people don't show signs, or uh, uncompleted failed attempts, it makes it really difficult and extremely complicated. That's why a lot of people say, think that it's like one thing, and it's just so complicated that I think that's why we have just such a difficult time with it.
Absolutely. Many people have described it as like a soup. So you've got your soup on the stove and it's boiling and boiling, and then you toss in the carrots at the last minute and boom, the soup boils over. And so they kind of equated that, you just kind of put stuff in and stuff it down or mask or whatever you're doing, and then all of a sudden it's too late. So
Right.
for Tristan, like I said,
Yeah.
there were definitely, as I got to work with American Foundation for Suicide and learn some of the signs and the symptoms and things like that, one of the things that make it very challenging is some symptoms are so similar to so many other things that your first thought wouldn't be to go to, hey, are they suicidal? Like one of the things that you hear often is people say, oh, they might give things away. Well, Tristan was actually a senior, obviously, when he died, and he played the trombone, but he had a good friend that he was teaching how to play his bass trombone. And so he said to me at one point, hey, I'm going to give my friend, my mouthpieces for the bass trombone, and okay, that sounds perfect. You're not going to play the trombone after you get out of high school. Tristan wasn't planning on going to college right away. He actually got a job those last few weeks. And so that seems totally typical. Well, after he died and we started going to classes, or I started seeing some stuff from AFSP and they talked about that, I remember torturing myself and just crying all the time and thinking, hey, that was one of those signs that I missed, and you're not really sure. Was that his
Yeah,
idea of giving
but
something away? Did I miss that? And so you're
right,
forever
but that's
tortured, like you said, with all the things that you see hindsight that you don't know could possibly be
well,
something.
yeah, it's it's not something that we've been through, and not being educated at that time as to, signs to look for, which you, again, like you said, that's not the first thing you would jump to, is, oh,
Right.
well, oh, this is happening. Oh, they're suicidal. That probably, I mean, it's just not something somebody would just automatically jump to, and
Exactly.
but that's why we spend so much time now trying to educate the public on the signs and how easy ways that they can help people, um, because yeah, I mean, we don't know what we don't know, and you know that's where a lot of our years and my efforts go into educating the public now
Well,
about things that we had learned, after the fact. Um, I wanted to tell people, particularly for the ones who haven't seen the shows that we've been on together. Um, when I met Teresa, when it was, I don't know, 5 months or so, 5 or 6 months after Bobby died. It may have even been a year. I think it was even more.
I
I
think
think
it
it was more.
was. I think you said like
Yeah, I think it
a
was
year,
the year.
3 months.
Yeah, I think it was the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was probably about 15 months after Bobby died.
Mhm.
And it was through Healing Conversations, which is set up in the perfect world with enough volunteers, uh, more like a peer-to-peer type meeting where, I'll just use me as an example, losing a spouse. So you contact AFSP for Healing Conversations, and they pair you with someone who has the same type of loss that you have. But at the time, they didn't have enough volunteers, or a volunteer that had the experience of losing a spouse. But they sent you.
That's right.
So, and like Teresa said in the video, we've kind of been together ever since.
Absolutely. And one of the things that they're
She,
actually doing new, we've been talking about that with our Healing Conversation national team, is that we have the ability now to connect people. So let's say if I get an email, being the coordinator, I would get an email that says, hey, John Smith, needs a healing conversation and he had a spouse pass away. Well, if I don't have any volunteers at my chapter, the Tampa Bay chapter, I can reach out to my area director, Tara Sullivan, and then see if she has anybody in our Florida area. So we have actually 6 different Florida groups, because Florida is so large. And so she could put in touch with me somebody else who may have a spouse loss and then I can connect them with my person that signed up for the healing conversation. So it definitely is getting better, although we still are seeking different types of survivors, sibling survivors, friend
Right.
survivors, like I said, aunts and uncles, cousins. There's tons of people that are affected by suicide that are not the immediate family. And we're always looking for those healing conversation people to volunteer.
Are they doing the healing conversations now? Say if there is nobody in the immediate area, like via Zoom, since things have changed since you and I
Yes.
first met? Yeah,
Mhm.
because
We do
when
Zooms
we
and
first
phone
met, they
calls.
weren't doing that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good because I mean, and that helps alleviate the issue a little bit about not having enough volunteers or certain volunteers in a
Yes,
certain area. So that's really good, and I'm sure that has been a result of COVID too. Like everybody,
absolutely. But
you know,
as I've
having Zoom
learned as a
meetings.
coordinator and dealing with other coordinators, I've learned that there are many states like California, for instance, or New York, where traffic or just the distance can be so vast that they do almost all of their healing conversations via Zoom.
Oh, well, that makes sense, and especially and
Right?
too, like, probably rural communities also, that would
Yes.
be yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that is great. I'm really I didn't even know that that had those changes since you and I met. That's really good. That's good to know. So
We're working on it.
so I had mentioned we were actually on a Zoom last night for the Pasco County Out of the Darkness Walk that is coming up, like you said, on November 2nd.
That's right.
And so, and I'm the MC, and there you
Yes, you
can
are.
register. You can use that QR code and still register. And we also have the link to the AFSP website, if Austin can put that up. And it's the main page. If you go to AFSP/Tampa, I don't know if Austin can scroll down or not, but anyways, if
Or
not,
forward
just
slash Pasco or forward slash St.
yeah,
Pete.
yeah. Well, it on the main page here, it has
Mhm.
all three. It
Oh,
has
excellent.
the Yeah, right on the
Excellent.
main landing page for the Tampa Bay chapter. So, and, and it has all of them listed, and it has the direct link to each one. So, so that'll be easy to get to. Oh, there, Austin's getting it right there. See, right there,
There we
walk with
go.
us.
That's
Yep.
very good.
Yeah. So all of the walks are there. No, let's St. Pete. Tampa Community Walk. Yeah. So you can go to that website, and I'll put the link in the comments for that too. So, this is what year is this for our walk? Do you know?
This is our 10th.
Oh,
Our 10th
really?
year. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes
Yeah.
about sense because Bobby's been gone little over 8 years, and that
Mhm.
so it would have been what second or third year when I. That's how I found out about AFSP was because of the walk, but I couldn't walk
I
because I literally
remember.
couldn't. I literally couldn't walk. I had a broken leg.
We're in a cast.
So, but I've been involved ever since the following year when I've been able to walk since
Yes.
then. So, and our family has been involved a little bit between now and the walk. I have a really good picture of my nieces and stuff from the walk. So I'll pull that out as we keep promoting the
Excellent.
walk until we get to the walk. So, do we have anything other special that we're having at the walk this year?
No, I know we're still working on things. Like I said, possibly we could have the sheriffs out there. Tammy, possibly.
I,
The Pasco County sheriffs
I'm not.
or
I'm not. You're gonna have to get somebody else to contact the sheriff. I'll do the police
okay.
department. I got a good reputation with the police departments. Sheriff still doesn't
Well,
like me
we'll
very
have to
much.
work on that. or it could be one of the schools. You know, we'll work on that after the video.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we still have a few things, but people can sponsor. There's sponsorships available. There's tabling opportunities available. The foundation is going to be there with a table. AFSP will have a table. So there, and so far we have like over 300 people signed up, something like that. Is that what we said last night?
I think last night it's up to about 150. So yeah, so a little
Oh, I
shy
thought
of 300, but now.
we were okay. Well, we'll get
But
there.
yeah, definitely go to the website and register. And then obviously, if you guys had any more questions, my email address is on that afsp.org site or the Pasco County Out of the Darkness site. So you can feel free to contact me and we can go over anything that you need.
Yes. Okay, super awesome. Well, we're getting close to time, and I wanted to show we've been doing, Teresa, I don't know if you've heard about this, the Be the One To campaign.
No.
Have you ever heard? Okay, well, we're on
What's
the
that?
fourth or fifth week. So this is the last one. It is be the one to follow up. Check in with the person you care about on a regular basis. Making contact with a friend in the days and weeks after a crisis can make a difference in keeping them alive. So that's this
wonderful.
week's. Yeah, we'll talk about this. So I want to get my quote up because this is a lot for this week. What everybody's going through. Ooh, it's kind of dark. And once the storm is over, once the storm is over, you won't remember how you made it through, how you managed to survive. You won't even be sure whether the storm is really over. But one thing is certain, when you come out of the storm, you won't be the same person who walked in. So remember to put the 988 numbers in your phone and 741-741. Keep those available. You never know when you're going to need that. And Teresa, again, thank you for being my guest. And
you are
always
welcome.
remember, there is always hope.
That's right.